We will invite Professor Kim Song-hee to look into this growth formula in more details.
안녕하세요. 반갑습니다.
Hello, nice to meet you.
저희가 제안하는 두 번째 성장
I will go into the second growth formula that we are suggesting. It is to invest in scale-ups than in startups. One of the characteristics of the Korean economy is that the value generation is focused on very few number of large companies. As of 2025, companies that have more than 5 trillion won in asset amounts to not just 92, and they account for 79% of the GDP. It shows that SMEs have difficulties in surviving in the Korean economy. So starting up a business in Korea is difficult, and growing up in Korea is even more difficult. Since 1997, among roughly 130,000 certified venture firms, only 25 have achieved annual revenue of over 1 trillion won. To grow in the long term, you need consistent investment. So you need to have the capital to nourish your growth. And I think it is the same for global companies. NVIDIA, 5 years, Netflix, 6 years, Amazon, 9 years, and Coupon, 14 years, and Tesla, 17 years. Those are the years needed for them to turn black. So rather than just creating the company, what is needed to have the investment for your growth. However, in Korea, funding is heavily concentrated at the startup level. In 2024, Korean venture capital investment totaled about 12 trillion won, while the US was 300 trillion won, 25 times more. More important is where you make the investment. In the US, 34% of VC funding goes to startups and 66% to scale-ups. But Korea, it's the other way around. If you look at the investment into startups and SMEs, only 66% goes to startups and only 34% was to scale-ups. In this structure, many companies are trapped in what is called the Death Valley, and they fail to grow from there. Then how can we overcome this funding gap? The reason why we don't have a lot of scale-up investment is because of the imbalance between profit and risk. To overcome this problem, the government, domestic investors, and global venture capital should come together to create the win-win-win funding model. The government should not just be extending support for the startup, but should participate as an equity investor to reduce risk for investors and also receive profit. Also, global venture capitals should allow fast market access and expansion. And in the end, all three parties can share both risks and reward. The third formula for success is to add the digital engine to traditional industries to unlock new growth. In this era of AI, we hear a lot of people worried about traditional industries like agriculture being dead or might face the death. But I don't think that is the case. In fact, if you apply digital technology to those industries, I believe new opportunities can be created. As of 2023, world's top agricultural exporters were number 1, the US, second, Brazil, and third was the Netherlands. And in case of number 4, actually the number 3 company is the Netherlands, and it has the population of 18 million, and the land size is only 40% of Korea. The secret to the Netherlands' success in agriculture is that agriculture is not just a traditional industry, it is a high-tech industry powered by robots, drones, and AI and renewable energy. Through this, it has achieved 90% in water use and 50% reduction in energy consumption. And I think healthcare will also be transformed through technology application. At Cleveland Clinic, one of the largest hospital systems in the U.S., it has 80,000 staff. And in partnership with Palantir, an AI data company, it has revolutionized its operation. It has increased the number of available beds by 10% and reduced inpatient wait time by 20%. More importantly, patient outcome and quality of care has improved. Fourth growth formula is to solve today's tough issues. We have to build the best team. In the AI era, where we have a lot of productivity, rather than a handful of genius, it is better to have many people collaborating together, and the people should have different backgrounds. Professor Scott Page of the University of Michigan said that this is the diversity bonus, and let's hear what he says through the video.
That means that it's incredibly high dimensional, and there's lots of kind of interdependence between the attributes of the problem. And what that means is it's probably like almost too large for any one person to see the entire thing. We tend to think, let's get kind of like a group of really the smartest people, and they're going to kind of be better than a diverse group. When would it be the case that the best team consists of only kind of the best individual performers? Is if you're doing like a 4x100 meter relay race, then the best team will be the best individuals. But outside of that, the best team is almost always going to be diverse. You want people who think about the problems in different ways. Right? If I'm building a giant bridge, I wouldn't want a whole bunch of people who'd only worked on one bridge, on the same bridge. I'd want people who had experiences with different bridges. I'd even want people who worked on projects that went horribly over budget, like the Big Dig in Boston.
어려운 문제일수록 다양한 배경을 가진 사람들이 필요하다는 사실은
So people from diverse backgrounds are needed. You can see that from the background of Nobel laureates. So out of all the Nobel Economic Prize laureates, 19 didn't have the economics background, and in recent 8 years, Nobel Chemicals laureates, there were 22 of them, and half of them didn't have the chemicals background. And in case of Davis Hassabis, who is well known as the creator of AlphaGo and also won the 2023 Nobel Chemistry Prize, he studied the neuroscience and computer science and not chemistry. So what do we need to do to create the best team with diverse background? First, we need to recruit people from various disciplines. Second, we have to promote cross-organizational collaboration. And we have to nurture our employees through cross-learning and by inviting various world-class academics. So this kind of support can make people grow into world-class scholars, and that is the case in China as well. By contrast, Korea still faces very dire situation. We do not have sufficient collaboration between scholars and companies, and between local researchers and global experts. And we still do not have sufficient cooperation between Korean professionals. We need to invite more talents from abroad and from non-inherent fields. But when challenges become more complex and unpredictable, we need to have more people getting involved, and especially those from various backgrounds. So I have shared 4 of our new growth formulas. If they succeed, I'm sure that we can expand the size of our economy and have quantitative growth, but also have resilient growth and sustainable development through flexibility and co-evolution. Korea's economy has been led by manufacturing, agriculture, healthcare, and education. And when they're combined with new technologies, I think it can be like a new growth engine for the future. And we will have diverse parties that are leading the future of growth, and promising SMEs will be leading the Korean economy together with large conglomerates. Thank you for listening.